Alright, it's Carl from Studio in Car, and we've got a treat for you today. Dawned on me a couple of days ago that Ollies RS4, it was triggered by Rob with Crafter. If you're a subscriber to our channel, which you should be, Rob with the Crafter has just rekindled his fire for his B5. He asked me about, if we've worked on B5s and things like that. And I remembered, we've worked on this particular B5 RS4 tons of times over the years, and it got me thinking. Every time we've ever done the work, we've done a sort of a bit of an Instagram story push through with what we're doing to it, because we've done some quite nice stuff to this, which works well in our Instagram stories, but we've never documented it in one place, so like this video for instance, or a blog post or anything like that. So I thought today I'd ask Ollie to come over, and he comes a fair way, to two things: so we can video it, and secondly so we can keep hold of it so that Rob can see it throughout the week. So let's dive into this system. There's so many little things that have been done in this car that I'll likely miss some stuff, but I'll try and keep it all relevant. I know that this one probably won't be for the purists who will love to have a moan, but this is all about Ollie, how much he likes music and good sound and cars, and we kind of bring all of that together. So yeah, it's a wicked car this. Let's have a look around it. I'm going to do each section individually. Alright. So, first things first, Alpine 802D. This was all custom made, so this fascia is all custom made in-house. There isn't a surround for this that is available for this size screen. So Ollie wanted a relatively large screen. He uses this, plugs his phone in, uses CarPlay, and that's his main source. So yeah, decent unit. We made this, we trimmed and made this custom panel here around the gear shifter to house the air controller for his 3H air system. So this is magnetic, and it just sits over there because he doesn't like the display, he doesn't want it to be glowing up all the time in the dark. So yeah, that was made, and that's about it source wise. Can't stress how long this took. This took a while. This isn't something that you can just get off the shelf. Most things in here are custom, to be fair. We did a black package in here as well, so this is a full Alcantara roof and pillars, which we actually did twice. The second time we did it under warranty because Alcantara changed their product, and it was a complete nightmare to apply to the roof line, and then it just wasn't good enough. So yeah, we took it off and we did it again. So yeah, source Alcantara trim. Let's discuss the speakers. I'll come round because there's plenty going on there. So up top we've got Dynaudio's MD102, a tweeter you'll be familiar with from our videos. The MW162 mid bass on a door build. Now this door build is fixed to the door card, and then the door build itself is fixed to the metal in the door, so that we can minimise any energy loss. And then we have the Dynaudio Tar 430. This is a custom grille that we had to make from the MD142 dome speaker, and then we had to cut up one of the original grills from the 162s and put that in there. So they're on axis, these are on axis, and so are the tweeters. All 6 speakers in the front end are on axis with the driver in this car. We try to focus on the stage in here. B5s and their owners will probably admit to this, are a nightmare when it comes to car audio. They're they're slightly better than an E46, and E46s can be a right pain in the arse. So there's a lot of improvisation and a lot of customization when you want to get it done properly. So this sort of Alcantara door, but I mean these are years old now, so they're still they still look like they did when they were out, albeit a couple of dents. I'll show you a few pan and shots of the speakers, and then we'll move around the back of the car. These doors, of course, are fully sound and everything's been done from a sound point of view, so it doesn't really get much more dead than that. And let's have a look at how the mid-bass and the mid-range sit together inside the car. You see that? When most people see that, they ask why the mid-range is in that location and does it work that far down? And yes, it does. It works very well that far down. If I could, I'd have all of the drivers down there really, but it's compromised on the driver's side. But yeah, that allows us to get the mid-range and mid-bass are almost on the same plane, so we have a bit of work to do between the tweeter and the mid-range, But yeah, that works really well. But as you can see, there's no space up here for that mid-range. These pillars aren't like pillars of most cars. They're quite soft and brittle, so you can't really work with them that well. But yeah, it works very well down there. And if I show you from a driver's point of view, hopefully you can just see through the wheel there, if I can get a focus down there. See that? So that's my foot on the accelerator, moving freely, and that mid-range as on axis as it's going to get. There's our mid-bass and our mid-range down there. I know it's dark, it's a very tricky shot to get this when to get the sort of three-way front end in focus. And then the Alcantara roof lining with all the black plastics, which are pretty much RS4 specific things. There's been a couple of things in here which we've oh no, I just found another part actually. The DRC is in the roof in this car, so yeah, hopefully you can pick that up, but that is flushed into the roof panel. Got that in night mode, so that the screen turns off when it's dark, so to not distract you. That's a lovely touch. That we put a lot of our DRCs in the roof or on the top of the glass, which does, we get a few questions about it, how easy or hard are they to use, and it's a very natural area. I don't know why a lot of cars don't have more controls up there, because it's not that distracting. Yeah, maybe when you're learning to use the controller, you don't really want to be looking up there, but Ollie's had multiple controllers, and of course I've had multiple controllers, so for me, I can just touch it without looking at it, and most of our guys have had their controllers for a while now, so yeah, that's quite a nice touch. That I completely forgot that we'd done that. It goes well considering it's full Alcantara roof as well. Let's go round and take a look at the boot. We'll take a look at the work done in there and the products. Yeah, and then we'll wrap the video up. Now, considering some of the builds we do are quite overt and tons of hours go into them, this one looks relatively simple. There's a lot of work in this. This is easily one of my favourite fabricated installs, and simply down to this solid light, which we call an infinity light. It has no ends, it just sort of vanishes and disappears. These are all trimmed in genuine Alcantara, the same to match the car and all the other Alcantara work we've done. We've got an AV Quattro running our mid basses, bridged, and a 51K running our twin tweeters, our mid-range, and our subwoofer. And our subwoofer is an Isatar 1200, Dynaudio Isatar 1200, with what I think is a TW5 or TW312 grill on the front of a custom box. This box is fantastic. I'm pretty sure actually we can just pop that grill off there, and there's the Dynaudio subwoofer in there. Yeah, absolutely jams that thing. So that's in just over 1 cubic foot enclosure, nice tight, but retaining that SQ sort of bottom end. And yeah, this also has load covers, because Ollie uses it, so he chucks all sorts of crap in here. So we made these load covers, so you can just chuck whatever you want in there. Now you're probably thinking, what an incredible match these load covers are for all of the side panels and the seats and whatnots. That's because we've broken these down and retrimmed all of these panels. Everything in here is renewed to match all of the stuff that we've made, and also just to freshen it up, because like I say, Ollie uses this to load, and before it was, you know, this type of car, you know, there was plenty of scuffs and marks and stuff. Underneath this floor here, there's a full air system which we put together. We didn't do the air installation on this car, we just remanaged it and got it all safe and good to go. So yeah, that's the fabrication in the boot, and that's the load covers, which makes it a practical, functional thing. This, you're never breaking that grille really, you'd have to hit it quite hard. So yeah, great install, great practical, but you know, SQ based install with a nice level of fabrication.
he can't see how living the high life might just be the perfect disguise for someone who's in pain. And he works in a bar and he tells me.
So that's it. That's been Ollie's RS4. I hope you've enjoyed it. Costs for something like this are kind of POA because the job is a large job. To do it in one step is a large job. We did this over a number of years in probably 3 or 4 hits. It's had different front ends, it's had different subwoofers, it's had a completely different fabricated install that kind of got in the way of his loading space. So we won't really go into those details unless you're a client that's interested in having that sort of high level and in that particular car. So I know it's not going to be for all the B5 RS4 owners out there, but it may be for a number of you, and it may be for the S4 owners and any other sort of early 2000 bubble arch styled, that type of build car. We can do work in them and we can get them to sound good. Alright, also we can do each stage, so if it's just a functionality thing like a CarPlay unit or something like that, chances are we can do something like that to upgrade that awful head unit that they come with. So yeah, that's been Ollie's RS4. I've been Carl, hope you've enjoyed it. Take it easy, it's a studio in car.